Now today in our first lesson, we will do how to run our first C++ program. Before starting, I'm using a developer of Bloodshed 5.11. I already have installed. You can directly get that developer installed from the Bloodshed website. It's available in 64 and 32 bits in both. So here is developer 2, developer 5.1 of C++. Double click initiated is developer C++ 5.11. So there is the menu here. So we go file, and from the file, we set new source file. The new source file, you got lines here from the editor. You can find it out options from the tools for the editor options. In the editor options, you can arrange your screen size, your fonts accordingly as you want for the class of your regular work. Okay. In C++ language, here double column. It is used for the comments. I'm using the version of Bloodshed developer C++, and version is 5.11. It is the most stable version of Bloodshed. Other versions are 6.2. These are not stable versions. If you go with the regular experience, you will find it out. It is the most stable version in which you can do the work. So in any program of C++, you first have to include a library. You should include a library. The library is IOStream. We remember IOStream is the basic library used for all the input-output streams. All the input-output functions and basic language structure is secured inside of the C++ is secured in IOStream. We remember in the Turbo C or old version programmers know that they are using here with IOStream.h. Most of the time they're using for the header files. But in this version of Bloodshed developer, if you are using IOStream.h, that will be return you an error. So here you should have to use only IOStream. After IOStream, here we go use second macro using namespace std. It is a very good utility. We are making just our first program. Here we want to confirm the basic structure. After that, in our second lesson, we will find out what's the meaning of this macro, why we should use this macro. But here, as a beginner, for the first class, we include a library. This include IOStream. And secondly, we use a macro is called using namespace std. After that, the third line that used it integer man. We know that in C++, every program must start it with a special function man. And here we use integer man. Then the output stream cout is used for the printing of any message. Right on it is my first program. It is my first program of C++. And line will be ended on semicolon. We go with the rules, with the 5 basic rules of C++ programming or any generation of C programming that contain every single line must be ended on semicolon. So we have a line ending here on semicolon. Then third, here we have given here integer. So for returning that integer, we must have provided return 0. Before a basic beginner, we know these 4 things. We must have to write down 4 things if you want to make a program. 4 most compulsory thing in your first program. Thing 1 is the library. This library is compulsory. Without that, you can't run that thing. Thing 2, that macro. That macro, a short key macro is compulsory. It using the basic std in and std out function. It's contain the std in, and std out function. We will discuss in detail in my lecture 2. Std out function. Then it is called the second thing that must be in any program of C++. Then the third thing is a function, a main function, a main function, the point of execution, the point of execution. And the fourth thing is compulsory is return 0. The fourth thing which is compulsory is return 0. You must have to write this thing as return 0. The fourth thing is return 0 to set integer that we have given behind main. These are the four compulsory element of any C++ program. You must have to include this library of iostream in any version. If you go through any version or in other operating system, as I am using this thing in Windows 10, if you are using on any other operating system like Linux or iOS, in all operating systems, you must have to include iostream. This is the most compulsory element. This is the library. Without that, C++ won't work. Second thing is using name space std, the macro. It is actually guiding this C out. In my second lesson, I will explain it in more deeper sense. And the third thing is return zero. It is satisfying this integer. It is satisfying this integer. These are interrelated. Means it returns zero means return nothing, but it is satisfying this integer. When once you have completed type this code, this is your line. Your writing is to display line. It's the output line. I will comment it. It is a output. It is a output line. It's just printing something. Like in any language, it's just equal to print. You are printing something. You are printing something. More sensible is printing something. After once you have completed all that, you have to save that file. Click here to save this file. So here I found my first program. So I say my program, my first program, my first program. Not C++ or already in the save type, the extension is there C++. So C++ automatically will be adjusted. We check it out there. My first program dot C++. Now we know that C++ is a compiler oriented language. Now I have to go in execute. And the first step I'm showing, this is the compile. You can literally use the hotkey of F9 for the compilation. So click on the compile. So the whole process initiated in the bottom line. Another put section, a window will get open here. And when it shows you arrows, zeros, warning, zero, means the it have already prepared the file. My first file .exe, the exe file already get prepared. Now this file is ready for the execution. For the execution in execute here, compile and run, or for F10 run. So memorize these three keys, F9 for compile, F10 to run, or compile and run. So we go with F10 to run, click here. So here we got the program. It is my first program of C++. We're giving the time duration of the execution, 0.1045 seconds with return value 0. So I already got stop, press any key to continue. That many time you want, definitely you press any key, you run back to your server. Automatically you get run back to your server. So this is our first program. You want to make any type of change, or you want a second line of printout or anything. They're supposed to be make any major mistakes the students are doing here, that they are not marking in a semicolon. So okay, after saving here, again, I'm pressing a compile key. When I'm pressing a compile key, giving a return. Check out what the read is. Integer function, integer main means in the section of main, there's a problem. What? Semicolon before return. Semicolon expected before return is arrived and semicolon needed before return. It's a pretty powerful language. That means a semicolon must be before return. So before return is the line of that cout. So here we should go and press a semicolon. After it, again, any type of change you done, again, when it is save, press F9, or from execute, you can go with F9. And again, when you see there's a zero error, zero warning, you can execute your program. That check it out. It's giving the correct answers. Yes, it's giving the correct answer. So it is your first program of C++.